Any independent musician knows how difficult it is to write a song that garners even modest recognition. Many artists labor for their whole careers without the benefit of a hit song, but others manage to launch a track into the public consciousness before they fade from view. This is a rare breed of performer who achieves extreme success with a single song and never recreates the miracle. Today, we are counting down the top 10 one-hit wonders. There's no denying that the 2012 song Somebody That I Used to Know, performed by Gautier and featuring Kimbra, was an earworm. The song was totally ubiquitous for many months after its release. The song has sold more than 13 million copies worldwide, becoming one of the best-selling digital singles of all time. And on top of this, the YouTube video has more than 1.2 billion views. However, Gautier didn't stay in the spotlight long. The Belgian-born Australian toured on his album Making Mirrors in 2013 and immediately announced a hiatus from the project. It turns out Gautier isn't really interested in the fame and fortune that accompany most hit songs. He didn't allow YouTube to put pre-roll ads on his videos, in a move that allegedly cost him $5 million. Gautier said in a statement, "I'm not interested in selling my music. That's the reason I don't put ads on my YouTube channel," which seems strange to people in today's climate, but that is a decision you can make. I'm like that with all my music. I generally never want to sync my music for products. Gautier also agreed up front to give 50% of his Somebody That I Used to Know royalties to the estate of Louis Bonfa, whose 1967 song Seville is sampled on the track. He said, "There was a moment where I could have considered going to court, but I didn't want to spend that time of my life doing that." In the years since his breakthrough success, Gautier has been featured on a few other artists' tracks, but otherwise has shied from the spotlight completely. The Dougie was a dance sensation that spread like wildfire in 2010, with celebrities like Kate Upton, Michelle Obama, and Justin Bieber all taking part in the craze. The dance sprang from Inglewood group Cali Swag District's track Teach Me How to Dougie, which became an instant hit, going double platinum and getting ridiculous YouTube plays. Sounding like a funky variation of the classic hip-hop song, the song was so catchy it racked up more than 50 million views. But Cali Swag District only enjoyed this success for a short period. Member M-Bone didn't live to see the end of the year. The 22-year-old rapper was the victim of a drive-by shooting in Inglewood. M-Bone was in his car after visiting a local liquor store when he was shot twice in the head. He was brought to a hospital where he was pronounced dead. Karen Childs, known in the group as JR, died on June 6, 2014. According to sources, the rapper JR suffered from sickle cell anemia. He was admitted to the hospital after he had a seizure in his sleep. While in the hospital, JR fell into a cardiac arrest and died at the age of 25. The rest of the group have not released a song since the 2011 album that spawned Teach Me How to Dougie, and are likely still living off of the royalties of this one-hit wonder. The Scot Kevin Little Coombs, better known as Kevin Little, is a singer from St. Vincent whose 2003 song Turn Me On launched him from an island favorite to an international superstar. Prior to his musical career, Little had subsisted on day jobs such as customs officer and radio disc jockey. Investing his savings of $1,500, Little recorded Turn Me On as a soca ballad in St. Vincent and the Grenadines in 2001, and the song subsequently became a radio hit throughout the Caribbean. Describing his path to success, Little said, "I came out of the ghetto. I never had anything big. I remember the days I didn't even have 5 cents in my pocket," he said. "I remember days seeing my mother cry because she was alone and supporting the family, and she was getting hell at the job she was doing." But his success was short-lived. He signed with Atlantic Records in 2003 and released his major label debut. While it charted in a few overseas markets like the UK and Australia, Little never managed to recreate the success that he had with Turn Me On. After an album in 2008 and 2012 flopped, Little retired back to his island home to continue to live on the royalties from this early 2000s hit. Sean Kingston is a Jamaican-American singer, songwriter, rapper, and record producer. He was born in Miami, but stayed true to his Jamaican roots musically. All throughout his youth, Kingston had ambitions to be a rapper. He didn't have a natural singing voice, so he practiced every day until he felt comfortable writing his own songs. His breakout hit, Beautiful Girls, which is based around the bassline riff from Ben E. King's Stand By Me, was written by the then 16-year-old Sean Kingston in a couple of hours. The lyrics describe the feelings of a teenage boy when he's dumped by his girlfriend. The song benefited from extensive airplay before its digital release, reaching as high as number 17 on the Hot 100. On July 24th, Beautiful Girls was accidentally leaked onto the US iTunes Store 2 days before the planned release date. The week after the song's digital release, it hit number 1 on Billboard's Hot Digital Songs, debuting with 260,000 downloads in its first week. But Kingston simply couldn't recreate the magic. After releasing 2 more albums that barely moved the needle, he effectively retired from music. These days he will occasionally play a concert for a quick check, but for the most part he's still riding high on the royalties from Beautiful Girls. Once upon a time in 2005, Daniel Powter sat atop the Billboard Hot 100. Bad Day was the first song ever to sell 2 million digital copies in the US, but it didn't stop there. It eventually went triple platinum in America and also shifted platinum units in Australia, Canada, and the UK. The accompanying music video for Bad Day was directed by Mark Webb and reached 9.8 million views in 2006, a huge feat at the time. The video depicts two downcast people sharing a similar routine until they meet each other at the end of the video. The song was used for advertisements and television programs, most prominently as American Idol's elimination song. But as with the rest of the artists on this list, Daniel Powter was not destined to stay in the spotlight for very long. Daniel Powter was named by Billboard as the top one-hit wonder of the 2000s for this song. The magazine defined a one-hit wonder as an act whose second hit did not reach the top 25 and only included acts from 2000 to 2007. However, Powter is still signed to Warner Records and has released 3 albums since his self-titled breakthrough. But it seems the success of Bad Day is destined to overshadow the rest of his career, and he is remembered as a quintessential one-hit wonder. Asher Roth is a Pennsylvania-based rapper known almost exclusively for his 2009 hit I Love College. The song eventually peaked at number 19 on the Pop 100 and number 12 on the Hot 100. The song sold over 1 million downloads in the United States in the 12 weeks after its release. While the song certainly earned Roth a respectable paycheck, he pushed back on the critical reception of the track. Many were quick to dismiss him as a frat rapper, but he contends that I Love College was written as a joke, and the rest of his music has more substance. But that hasn't changed the fact that I Love College is the defining moment in his career. A 2014 follow-up record flopped, and Roth largely gave up on music afterwards. Apparently, this was linked to a years-long legal battle with his former manager that prevented him from releasing any new music. These days, Roth is trying to make it as an entrepreneur and accepting the occasional check from his musical past. In 1974, the producer Badu asked Carl Douglas, a Jamaican singer, to record a song he wrote with Larry Weiss called I Want to Give You My Everything, and Douglas convinced him to use Kung Fu Fighting as the B-side. They recorded Kung Fu in 10 minutes, figuring it was just a B-side, but the record label loved it and made it the A-side. After a slow start, it began selling, and Badu became the first Asian to produce a UK #1 hit. It went on to sell 11 million copies worldwide. Kung Fu Fighting was rated number 100 in VH1's 100 Greatest One-Hit Wonders and number 1 in the UK Channel 4's Top 10 One-Hit Wonders list in 2000. Douglas attempted to recreate the popularity of Kung Fu Fighting with the song Dance the Kung Fu a mere 6 months later, but audiences were uninterested. He made several attempts to gain the same sort of notoriety, but every album was met with universal apathy. The 77-year-old singer is miles from the spotlight these days, though he still receives serious royalties when Kung Fu Fighting is licensed for use in television, commercials, and ads. Fountains of Wayne had been plugging away on the indie rock circuit for years before they were launched to international stardom with their 2003 hit Stacys Mom. The song was a commercial success and reached number 1 on iTunes' Most Downloaded Songs chart. In 2004, it was nominated for a Grammy Award for Best Vocal Pop Performance. The main songwriter, Adam Schlesinger, said that he does not think Fountains of Wayne will achieve the same level of success that they did with Stacys Mom ever again. I think Stacys Mom was a fluke thing where it was the right song and the right video and you kind of had the novelty factor and all that stuff, and you can't really make that happen again. The video has racked up 105 million views and is still considered a cult classic among Fountains of Wayne fans. Because they had a dedicated fan base before the success of this song, they still have a small following, but the band hasn't released new music since 2011, and their last album was only released in Japan, meaning that the record label did not see very much potential in the band that once made them millions of dollars. Since then, the main songwriters have pivoted into soundtrack work, including the show Meet Rebecca and the movie Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, both of which spawned Grammy nominations. Who Let the Dogs Out was a hugely popular song in the 2000s by the Bahamian band the Baha Men. But it turns out this one-hit wonder was a cover song, written by Anselm Douglas, a musician from Trinidad who wrote it 2 years before the Baha Men recorded it. His original version is called Doggy. Various versions were hits in the Caribbean, but the Baha Men toned down the calypso rhythm to make it more appealing to American listeners. The song became the band's first hit in the United Kingdom and the United States, and it gained popularity after appearing in Rugrats in Paris the movie and its soundtrack album. The track went on to win the Grammy for Best Dance Recording on the 2001 Grammy Awards, but after this the band floundered. They released a string of singles, all of which charted, but none that had any staying power. In the end, they released 2 more albums, one in 2004 and one much later in 2015. The latter didn't receive any radio play, and the band resigned themselves to playing reunion concerts with fans screaming for one song and one song only, Who Let the Dogs Out. Ice Ice Baby is the king of one-hit wonders. Robert Van Winkle, better known by his stage name Vanilla Ice, wrote Ice Ice Baby in 1983 at the age of 16, basing its lyrics upon his experiences in South Florida. As a young performer, Vanilla Ice opened up for NWA, Public Enemy, The DOC, Tone Loc, 2 Live Crew, Paula Abdul, Sinbad, and MC Hammer. He was definitely on the come-up when he wrote this fateful tune. It was late October of 1990, and the charts were dominated by Mariah Carey, George Michael, and Janet Jackson. But for a sweet 7 days of glory, Vanilla Ice was number 1. This one song led to a multi-million-dollar record contract, a brief acting career, and an even briefer relationship with Madonna. But in the years that followed, Vanilla Ice just couldn't recreate the magic. In 1990, Ice was threatened with copyright infringement for use of samples from Under Pressure by Queen and David Bowie. In the years that followed, Ice's personal life was defined by court battles, divorce proceedings, and demeaning appearances on reality TV. Though the royalties for Ice Ice Baby are still respectable, the song is the definition of a one-hit wonder.